All right, once again, you're still watching RNMRBG TV. And Google now you see RNM. We still talking on black businesses, right? Now, where I left off on part one, I was basically saying it's about time that the different, bigwigs in position of ownership, management, etc., are black status holders nonetheless within this realm of economy. It's about time that they start putting the family on again, so we can generate that trust amongst the people again. Break that whole separation curse, nonetheless, amongst the people. And on top of that, along with breaking curses of separation amongst the people, it breaks the curse in our minds, nonetheless, right? It breaks the curse in our mind that we can do once again for ourselves. We can do without the primary need of somebody else. We can do without outside handouts and this, that, and the third. We're not refugees, man. We can take care of ourselves. We may be, quote unquote, in exile, but we can handle our own. We've done it before, we can do it again. The question is, do you want to? Because I'm going to be real with you. These kids today, these babies today, these youth today, they don't want to hear. They ain't got the time of day. They don't want to hear, oh, we as a family, or we as a people, or you as an individual nonetheless, couldn't make shit happen because of the white man, because of the system, because all these other excuses. They want action. They want results. They don't want any more rhetoric. So we got to provide that as a people. We got to provide that remedy for them. We got to give them that answer nonetheless. That's their biggest question that they have. What is it that my people can do for me? We have to provide an answer for these babies, man. And if not, we'll be doing exactly what we did to the elders before us. And the elders will be doing exactly what they did to the ones before them. Looking back in disgust like, what in the hell? Is this what I stem from? Is this what my lineage is? Is this what my stock is about? They're going to be disgusted. We have to provide something that we can pass on. 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 Everybody else in this world does it. Everybody else in this land does it. One person in their family or in their neighborhood gets put on, they stay in there, get their little time up or whatever, get their little status up, they put somebody else on. They get their little rank up, they put somebody else on. They get their little rank up, they put somebody else on. Black folks, shit. First of all, we were lucky enough to get the damn job in the first place. We're lucky enough to get the job in the first place. So when we get the job, it's like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I possibly can to hold on to this joint by any means necessary. Even if that means not passing a good word on that my homie asked for me to pass on to my manager, see if they can get a gig, because they hurting right now. They need a little bit of bread in their pocket. We say, all right, family, I got you. You know that famous line, I got you. We tell them, yeah, I got you. I'm going to spread the word. Never spread the word, because you're in fear that your friend, your homie, your brother, your sister, your comrade, nonetheless, is going to make you look bad. You're afraid that they even might outshine your ass. And being the fact that it's only you, maybe it's somebody else in the camp that looks like you at the job or whatever, you want to, you don't want to make it all look bad for the people, quote unquote. This is what you think. But nonetheless, your mind is already twisted. You're thinking the way they want you to think. Competing against your own instead of competing against the competition. Blackonomics is very important, family. We love to talk about how much folks want to be rich, how much folks want to be ballers, this, that, and the third, but they're talking just on paper. They want to be paper rich. They don't want to be wealthy. And when I mean by wealthy, I'm talking about, again, passing something on that our people can stand on from generation to generation and say, you know what, that's us. That's our hands, that's our doings. Or even, let's take it a little step further, those will be our pyramids. In these times, you know that everybody loves to talk about. Everybody loves to talk about the pyramids. Everybody loves to talk about Hormacket, aka the Sphinx, and this, that, and the third. Nobody wants to build it. Nobody wants to build it, though. We have that opportunity. We have that damn near obligation, even. If we're gonna go back in time and romanticize over certain things, then we're obligated in these times to build a modern version of it, if you will. You understand? We're obligated. Because if not, again, you're bullshitting. And if you're bullshitting, you can't be upset when these kids come back and tell you that you are bullshitting. You can't do it. You can't do it. So what am I saying, family? All in all, again, black business is vital. The passing of information about black business is vital. We need to create, we need to establish, we need to run, secure. And that's another thing that needs to be talked about as well. The defense of our businesses. We need to have a defense set in place, some sort of security measure, some sort of security force, whatever you want to call it, in place that will protect our black businesses, that will protect our black communities as a whole. You understand? To prevent another Black Wall Street destruction. That way we can present that. We can prevent that. They like to call it a riot, but it was not a riot. It was an all-out massacre. It was all-out destruction. They came in and destroyed shit. A riot is when you're going back and forth, if you will. It was no back and forth. It was a straight-up wipeout type scenario, whatever. Again, they were jealous because we wasn't feeding a machine. Now, let's say this. We always say in the process, instead of, because a lot of people don't want to actually put that time and that energy in to establish some shit, folks just like to go out with the whole boycott thing. Okay, let's look at that one. Let's boycott, right? That's not a one-time deal, family. That's not a one-time deal. It's probably the most passive form of aggression that you can have on as far as economy is concerned. But by all means, let's get it twisted. It's not an overnight thing. That shit even takes out planning. It takes time. A lot of time. Case in point. Go back in time to the quote-unquote civil rights days with the Montgomery boycott, bus boycott, right? The Alabama bus boycott. That boycott lasted up to about a year. 360-something days. Almost a year, right? It was consistent. Day in, day out. Night in, night out. Black people refused to ride the bus. What did that do over time? It crippled the entire state of Alabama. It crippled the entire state. The money that was being used for the bus fare was not coming in. Therefore, the people that used that money for that bus fare, they didn't go to work. The businesses and where these black folks worked at did not bring any money. They didn't bring any revenue because they didn't have any black workers pushing out their product. It was an entire effect, family. It takes strategy. So don't just think by us folks yelling out boycott, 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 shit's gonna be changed overnight. You have to plan, you have to execute. And also, with that being said, that's where your time as a black business owner, a black vendor, even as a black patron, comes into major play. Major play. If you're gonna boycott from mainstream society, mainstream economics and patronage and all that stuff, buying shit from mainstream stores and that and third, then what does that leave? Two things. Either one, A, you're not gonna have what is it that you need, or it's going to force you, once again, as a people, to get your shit together, to establish some shit, to run some shit, to put some shit out there that's going to sustain you and yours. We're getting to that point. Yeah, we're getting to that point, family. We are definitely getting to that point now in these times that we're living in, whether you want to face that reality or not. Again, time goes in a circle until the energy is able to shift that time. We are that energy to shift that time, people. We can shift it back in our favor. Again, Marcus Garvey told us, you see the big homie sitting over there over my shoulder. What man has done, man can do again. We've had our Black Wall Street. We can make a blacker Wall Street. In a sense, metaphorically speaking, nonetheless. But nonetheless, all I'm saying is, stand up, man up, woman up, do for you. Put the family on. These babies need something to do. You can't sit back and cry, talk about how unproductive they are, how reckless they are, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, you have something that can provide some sort of remedy for their life. Right? Same way somebody helped save your life. You can turn around and help save theirs. But you choose not to because you're selfish. We have to get out of that realm. We have to face that as a fact too, family. Black people have become selfish. Also, one of the many traits and many characteristics that was put into us way back when. And we just been living it out year by year, day by day, generation by generation. We've become a selfish people. This is why black people as a whole, as a collective, have not come up. Yes, you may see that one person or two persons or even a handful of black folks that so-called have wealth, so-called have money, this, that, and the third, and have something to show for themselves, right? You might see that. Okay, I hear you. Pardon me, somebody's calling my phone. You might see that. But at the end of the day, they're scattered. They're broken up. And 9 times out of 10, they are also trying to further assimilate themselves into that of mainstream society instead of helping the greater people at large. So my overall message in today's build is very simple, straight to the point. Build up, establish, run, secure. Pass on to those that look like you. This is why I always say black love is the cure for the black nation, so let's get it. When you love yourself, when you love the people as yourself, nonetheless, right? You're going to want to take care of yourself. And if your people is an extension of yourself, you're going to want to take care of the people. We can't cry no more, man. We have no reason to sit back and cry about capitalism when we ain't making our own. We can't sit about and cry about capitalism when we not establishing our own, when we not securing our own, defending our own. This is a generational game, family. Don't get it twisted. Life is a generational game. How do you live from generation to generation? How do you sustain yourself from generation to generation? Gut check. And I'm also gonna say this one last thing. Then I'm gonna get up out of here. I think I'm touching on a lot of things within this one topic. But I'm gonna say this one last thing. We're gonna talk on the topic real briefly of customer service. Customer service, black customer service. Black folks, whether you the cashier, whether you the owner, I don't give a damn what you are. If you work at these different businesses and you out there constantly saying the same way you type up on social media, support black business, support black business, support black business. We need more black support for black business, right? I hear ya. I hear ya. I hear ya. I would be wrong to take that away. I hear you. But here's the thing. I do believe that customer service is also part of it. Customer service is part of it. You might want to treat your black patrons the way you want them to frequent and treat your black business. They always say the customer is always right. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But at the end of the day, let's keep it 100. How often do you go into a black business trying to, spread your love, spread your dollar, and you get snotty ass attitudes in return by the ones working there, by the ones that look like you working there? How often we get that? We get that a lot, family. But then we'll go right down the block, whether it's to Walmart, whether it's the white dollar store, whether it's the beauty supply store ran by the Asians, the Chinese spot ran by the Asians, sitting behind a thick ass bulletproof glass while you gotta order your food. Nobody looks at that as bad customer service, negative customer service. Nobody does. You know why? Because they've got your mind right where they want it as far as their dollar is concerned. That dollar is concerned. They want you to constantly rely on them, constantly depend on them. And then have you turn around, look back at your own, and say, well, their ice is colder, nonetheless, metaphorically speaking, right? Talking about white folks or any other people outside of black people. Their ice is colder, so I'm going to go over there. I know we need to be doing over here, but I'm trained, nonetheless, so I'm going to go over there. That's what happens. That's what happens. So in return, it gives the black business owner or the black business worker, it gives them an attitude. And they take that attitude out on their very own. Instead of appealing to the people, doing something that's more attractive to the people, something that's going to persuade the people to come back home, you take your energy and your frustration out on the people. Therefore, the gap gets wider and wider and wider. Therefore, the trust gets weaker and weaker and weaker. Therefore, we don't put each other on. Are you seeing how it all connects? Are you seeing how this shit all ties in together? You cannot have one component and leave the rest out. You can't have the rest components and leave one out. It all goes together, family. We need to run, we need to establish, secure, protect, and pass on. We also need to provide a service that's appealing to the people, that's going to continually have the people come back to you to continue to have that money circulate amongst the hood, etc., etc., etc. Black Wall Street will then be birthed once again.